Welcome back, everyone, to another Mondays with Micah. I have another special guest. We have Bobbi Lea here today, and we go back for a while. When did you start coming to the Rock Church?
I was introduced to Rock Church in 2010.
Okay, so 15 years.
Yep.
And so we have known of each other for some time. Some of these videos, I said, this is the first time we've met. This is not the first time we've met. And I was having a little bit of a conversation with her. This is coming out on December 22nd, the week of Christmas. And so we're going to have a little bit of a holiday conversation. She is a widow, and you've been a widow for...
It'll be 8 years, December 23rd.
Okay, so once again, last week's video, we had a widow coming, and I didn't know this fully until I asked her when was the anniversary of her husband passing. It was December. Now the next week, we have another widow coming whose husband passed in December. So the timing feels right. These are not always the easiest conversations to have. But we are here at the Widow Walk to educate you in real time, real widows, women. She's a woman first. And she's also a mother that is taking care of a special needs child. And she turned
19.
Yes.
A
miracle child.
She is a miracle.
And so without further ado, Bobbi, introduce yourself. Tell the listeners whatever you want to tell them about your life, your childhood, how you got here.
Be here a long time.
Well, usually people talk for an hour on this show.
Oh, really?
Yes, they do.
Wow.
So you can tell us whatever you want, wherever you want to take the story.
Well, like you said, I became a widow in 2018, so it'll be 8 years. And I guess the thing I want to share right away is Jeffrey and I met in 2010. Mm. He introduced me to Rock. We got married in August of 2011. And he passed in 2018. So we were together for 7 years. And now he's been gone longer than we were married. Mm. And I told myself that this year I'm going to recognize my feelings. Because the years coming up to this one, I really kind of didn't realize the grief was coming until it was already upon me.
Okay.
Like days after the day he passed. I'm like, why do I feel this way?
Okay.
Why am I so weepy and down?
Yep.
Kind of confused, can't focus. Yes. And then I stop and I'll hear Jesus. Jeffrey's gone. I was like, I guess I forget, not that I forget, but right. I'm so entrenched with my care of my daughter, which is 24/7, and she has nurses, LPNs, and RNs, so I can't do it by myself.
Yes.
And I guess I just get so ingrained in her care, right. I'm distracted.
Yep. And then those holidays, when you hit those anniversaries,
yes,
there's these funky feelings, and I've had other widows say that they felt really off.
Yes.
And then the reality clicked in. Oh, this was the day that hospice came, or like this was actually the day before he passed. So there's some muscle memory in ourselves. I mean, the issues are in our tissues, y'all. And we can sometimes, I've said that before.
I like that.
They can get that deep. And so when you have these reactionary times where you feel like my emotions are elevated to what they should be on that day, and then you're like, what's wrong with me? Then you realize, it's actually the grief.
It's the grief. And I was having a conversation, I was texting with a friend of mine, and Rose's nurse had called out or whatever it was, and it was just triggering me, and I said something to my friend. I couldn't come, so I'm sorry. And unfortunately, grief is visiting me today.
Okay.
And I'm, weepy for, I don't want to say for no reason. Something will trigger it.
Yes.
You're watching the news, or you hear a song, or you hear something about something tragic, and
Right.
you're like, "That's so." I mean, like, it's so sad.
That it taps into your
Yes,
sadness.
it taps into my sadness.
For sure. And this is great, Bobbi. This is really good awareness of things. But this is what I usually hear from people. Okay, you've been 8 years in. It's still surprising that things can tap into the sadness because you say to yourself, I thought I was further along. Or I thought I was beyond that. Or I thought I had already grieved that.
I still grieve of Rose's childhood.
Mm.
It's a big deal because I was so excited to be a first-time mom.
Yeah.
I waited till I was 39 to have her. I was going to show her the world. I was going to let her experience what she wanted, support her.
Yeah.
And I had to say goodbye to all that. And it took me a year to come to terms with who Rose is, and am I going to commit my whole life to her?
Right.
It's a commitment. Like cleaning.
Take it or leave it.
No, it never ends. Caregiving
That's fair.
doesn't stop. Like,
and can you tell the audience what type of condition your daughter has?
her disorder, her main diagnosis is cerebral palsy, but she has many underlying factors. She has seizure disorder, was a big deal. She also has dysplasia in her hip. She also has, I can't think of it, I'm nervous a little
Yes, that's okay.
Scoliosis.
Yes.
And of course, she's universally and globally delayed in her mind. And she has dysplasia in her lung. And she also, because of aspiration, when she was about 1.5, 2, she has atelectasis. And she's also has lots of scarring from numerous pneumonias. So she basically has chronic lung disease. So that's really her biggest issue, because when she gets sick, it could be the last time she gets sick.
Right.
And she did get sick in October, but she bounced back real nice. She's just doing really good.
So this is she's not walking in this condition, but this child that only grew to a certain point is still here at 19 years old. It is phenomenal what modern medicine and the nurses and all the caregivers that are involved. And so I just want to take an opportunity right here, right now at the holiday time to acknowledge the caregivers.
I tell you what, can't do it without them, people. I love every one of my nurses.
Can you speak into that? Because you have had how many years of having people in your home to check on your daughter, take care of your daughter, sit for your daughter?
She's 19, 17 years, basically. And it's still odd. You know.
Now, how did you navigate that? Okay, with the medical system, we haven't had this, and with you at the time, this was new.
I know this is going to sound really simplistic, but I just did what I was told.
Okay.
You know, you follow up, do this, do that, call these people. Don't take no for an answer. Squeaky wheel gets the grease. Advocate, advocate, advocate.
That goes a long way on a lot of different conversations and patience. And
you can apply that to a lot of situations in life. And
you had to fight for her. But she's also fought for herself.
Her and the father, they're in it together.
Yes.
And when she does get ill, and she's gotten chronically ill, ventilated twice and come out of it, and I could tell you, I could be in there just fighting the devil, and we're deep into her being really sick. And twice this has happened. I hear that sweet voice of the Holy Spirit saying, why are you fighting so hard? The battle's already won. I calmed down. I could get some rest. But it's been a long road. And I mean, basically, she shouldn't be here.
That's right.
That's what
at
we
this
were told.
point,
So
she has defied the odds and continued to prove that, look, I
Right.
wrote something down recently that the Lord is the breath giver. He's
He
the
is.
breath giver. And what I was writing is I was kind of concerned about another situation, and they had to be intubated and some things like that. And I basically wrote down,
it's your breath in our lungs.
I'm the breath giver. Like, basically, don't give all the credit to these machines that they're the ones keeping her alive. They are assisting, but he's the one who's really the breath giver, and the one who decides when her final day is, when when any of our final days is. Yes.
Because you don't know.
That's right.
You just don't know.
So I appreciate you sharing some of that. You caregivers, you're the compassion. You're literally boots on the ground with the hands and feet of Jesus. Believer or not, it takes a certain type of person, kind-hearted person, to do caregiving at the level of some of these situations are.
Because, these people, some people get paid out of private insurance and other people get paid out of state insurance.
Okay.
Which is a big difference.
Okay.
And the people who are getting paid through the state Medicaid or Medicare, they're not getting paid a lot. I feel like, from my experience, from the people who have been in and out of my house, it is about patient care. It's about really caring about a person versus I got to go work my 12-hour shift and pull in my $48 an hour or whatever, So I feel like it's really out of love. And out of true compassion. And, it kind of fits their lifestyle too. So,
So have you gotten better care by state people or insurance people?
I haven't ever had private care.
Okay.
I've always had, as soon as Rose was born, she was in the Medicaid system.
Okay.
So we've been working with them and it's worked out fine. I mean, there's bugs in the system. And nothing's perfect. I always look for just right. I don't look for perfection because only God's perfect.
Is there anything you can encourage those that may be walking into the Medicare, Medicaid realm and on the geriatric perspective? She's in the...
she's still in a pediatric. But she's going to be, if she's still with us, she's going to be transitioning into adult care. Which is going to be difficult. And I'm going to have to be patient because adult care is nothing like pediatric care. Pediatric care, I think they're kind of trained to listen to parents because parents know their children. And everybody's the same. You can give the same person the same thing and it's going to work different. So that's just the way it is. But if you don't understand something, ask until you do.
That's good.
Ask until you understand, because there's nothing worse than feeling lost, trying to figure out paperwork and all. And if you need assistance, because you can get someone to help represent you to fill out paperwork even. But that for me would be the biggest thing.
That's good.
If you don't understand, make sure you get to the point where you do understand.
Ask somebody else.
Yeah, because it can get really messed up and you don't want to get lost. And my worst thing is I don't like backtracking.
Yeah, for sure.
It's very frustrating.
Now, when your husband came into the picture, she was right around 10.
She was 5 years old. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Because I remember we had it was her 5th birthday, and I know we were in the house because the picture we took was in that house. But we had written "Happy 5th Birthday" on her on the back of her pamper. It was really cute. I still have a picture of it.
Awesome.
But
and you thought that was going to last for a good while, and you were going to have some help.
Yeah, well, I was really looking forward to spending the future with Jeffrey. We had a lot of fun together.
And he had also gone through loss, so he was a widower.
Yep.
And she married a widower, and he had a few children.
He has a stepdaughter who unfortunately passed away.
Right.
And 2 daughters, Jessica and Haley Page.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then he came into the picture with Rose. So
Right.
there were 4. He had a lot of women around him, really.
He was raised by a woman named his only child.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And so he passed of a heart attack, if that's correct.
He had his descending aorta had an embolism. That's not the
Okay.
word. Is that right?
Um,
But it ruptured.
like the Widowmaker, was that?
It wasn't a heart attack.
Okay.
He had an embolism,
embolism.
and it ruptured. And he was actually at church when the event started.
Right.
And he had gone outside to get some air, and then he had messaged Haley to come out because he wasn't feeling good. He wanted to go home. I guess they got into the car, and he said, "Never mind, just take me to the hospital." So they went to the hospital. They intubated him there and then flew him to Chesapeake. Not Chesapeake, to Oversea. And they tried to save him, but I guess there must have been too much damage.
Right.
And the significant real thing about that day was I really didn't get to say goodbye to him. So that was hard. And when the doctor was on the phone with me, I was home alone with Rose, and he told me what happened. I said, "That can't be right, because we've been praying and you're supposed to save him." I mean, it was very aggressive. It was nothing like what you just heard.
Yeah.
And everything went
Blurry
black.
at the,
Went black after that. Oh, I mean, can I share this? I don't know. I feel kind of bad, but I want to share it.
Yes.
Because, personal relationships can be difficult through loss.
Yeah.
Because not everything stays together.
Right.
That was together.
For sure.
And I hold the Holy Spirit said, "You're not going to see Haley Page for a long time." Because we never really bonded well. And I blame myself. So, and that still bothers me today. So that's kind of hard sometimes.
So back to the blended families. They stepped into a blended family. You've got one child that's special needs, that needs full-time care, that takes her time and attention.
All
Then
of
you
it.
come in with a new family from a widower who has children, also needing mother's care. Relied more on her father, and she lost her mother to breast cancer or some type of cancer.
Yeah. Well, she had breast cancer. She went into remission.
Oh.
And it came back
Vengeance.
really
Intense.
aggressively.
So she was a teenager when that happened, and then a young adult.
Right. I met Haley when she was 11, turning 12. So, yeah, I mean, loss on top of loss.
On top of loss.
And I come from dysfunction, so I essentially lost my own childhood. Not because I lost my parents,
Right.
but I wasn't protected as a kid.
Right.
So that's a different kind of loss, which I still think about today.
And this is all in these things that start
Yes.
to wake up inside of us as things feel familiar, different storylines, similar feelings.
Yeah,
And as the Lord starts to weave and reveal things as we go through what we would call encounters at our church, where there were certain times where it's set aside time where you don't have any distractions and you really get to commune with the Holy Spirit, and things get revealed and parts of your heart gets healed. I have a vivid memory of after your husband passed, you went to the beach.
Oh, yeah. It was
Can
the
you
first
share that?
Christmas. It was in 2019.
Okay.
And I had gone to the beach. I didn't want to be at home for Christmas. So me, Rose, and her grandparents, Paul and Laura, we went down to the ocean front in Virginia Beach. And we got a nice condo right on the ocean. And Laura had stepped out on the balcony. It was really cold and windy. And she goes, "Bobbi, you got to come here." I'm like, "What? What is it?" And I walk out there, and in the sand, really huge, don't know who, we didn't see anybody doing it, but it said, "My name is Jeff." And I still have that photo. It's actually the screensaver on my laptop.
I'm telling you, it gives me chills every single time.
It's like the footprints of Jesus in the sand.
And so I just have to go into the God winks. That is...
I forget about that.
No, it's a vivid memory. Because after my husband passed...
I shared it with you right away.
Yes, there were so many God wink things to to just get my attention that I am here, that I'm present with you in this storyline. And she got a gift, okay? The wonder of creation is what I like to call this, where she probably didn't even have it in her heart to pray a prayer to say, Lord, I would love a gift today. I would love something surprising. And I'm not saying those moments haven't happened to me where maybe you go out walking and you would love to see a butterfly or whatever creative things we start to ask for in a deeper level than maybe we had before.
I didn't ask for it.
No.
I was very distraught still.
Yeah. And then you look outside and my name is Jeff. Okay. We could imagine, romanticize is a term that people use. How could that have happened? And what I try to say, we don't need to logic our way out of the goodness of God.
No.
And we do not need to figure out who did it, why they did it. That's not the point, because we logic our way out of receiving the goodness of God. When she went to the beach, there was an activation, y'all. I have to get into that because it gets me so pumped up to believe she chose to do something around the holiday, the first Christmas. She wasn't in her house. She may have been mopey getting there. I'm not saying whatever your attitude was. And she got a miraculous gift that was in bold letters, got your attention. And all you can say is thank you.
Yes, just thank you, and thank you for reminding me.
Look,
I'm never on my laptop, so I never see it.
It was so clear to me. I'm like, his loving kindness.
And the way it was written, it was like a child, because my was real big, Iz was small, and Jeff was bigger. And it looked like a little kid had done it. You know?
And that just hits your heart in a tender way.
Because I think deep down inside, Jeffrey had a childlike spirit.
Yeah, totally.
And I do too, so.
And so and that's the intentionality of the Lord, that he's that specific, that he would speak to you in a way. And that's why I have to keep my eyes open. I have to stay open to the wonder of creation because it is speaking to us. And I'm thankful for people laugh at me about the dolphins and different things where I would start, like the dolphins started showing up after Ben passed when we would go to the beach.
You never saw them before?
I had seen them before, but I had never asked to see them before.
Oh, okay.
So I had definitely seen dolphins in the past, but the year that Ben passed, and I know this is on a video somewhere, so I don't want to belabor it, but there were people who had gave some gifts, plants at the funeral. And so I felt very compelled to go in and thank them. Well, one of the ones who gave a plant, I think it was a plant. See, now my mind's blurry. I went into Century 21. So one of the real estate offices gave something, and I went in there while my car was getting an oil change or something before we were going to the beach. This was about 3 weeks after my husband passed. We had already planned to go to the beach with another couple, so I wasn't going to be alone for the beach. That wasn't something we always did. All of these things that started to unravel, that was like, oh my gosh, it was set up before we even knew. And I go in there, they end up giving me an envelope with cash. They were putting together a little gift for me. I went in to say thank you. I walked out with cash. And she said, do something you haven't done before with your kids.
Cool.
Do something at the beach. And then she went on to say, well, I did a dolphin sighting in Manio. They do dolphin sightings. And I'm like, oh, okay. I had never really thought about that. And then this whole dolphin thing started to like desire to kind of, so then we looked it up and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's not that cheap to do it. I don't know if we want to invest in that. You don't even know if you're always going to see a dolphin. You're paying for this whole thing. So my conservative side did not want to spend the money to do it. Okay, fast forward to the middle of the week. There were other people in our church that were also at the beach, the Rickmans, and they said, come to where they were staying. And I'm telling you, within 5 minutes, we had a dolphin show outside. I mean, we walked outside to the beach, and these dolphins, they're flipping their tails. They jumped in the air.
Wow.
And I was like jaw dropped. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then the ones there, they're like, we've been coming to the beach for 20 years. We've never seen them this active.
Wow.
And the Wave Riding Vehicles is a surf brand.
Right.
In Nag's Head, but other places. And the design on their shirts is this sea of these dolphins
It's jumping.
that are like layered. Well, we saw that day. And that was the first time I had ever seen a cluster of, and that's not even the term, I think it's like a
pod.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That come together. and so then Amber wasn't there. My niece, who was living with me at the time, she was working. And I was like, Lord, like she needs to see this. She missed it. They asked us to come back on Friday. The dolphins were there again.
No way.
And I was just like almost out of my skin. So the wonder of creation and the beach has a very soft spot in my heart.
Aww.
And there has been other times that I have gone and the dolphin shows up. I would get up for a sunrise and I would almost have this thing in my heart to say like, Lord, you don't have to. But then I wait. And there's the little dolphin comes along. And I'm like, thank you again for the small, tender gesture to let me know you care. And some people thought that was a little far out, for me to get so excited over these dolphins.
No.
But the thing is, what's funny to me, y'all, is that I highlighted 3 things in particular very early on that were happening out of my control things. Rainbows were happening in 2017. Everywhere we went, we saw full rainbows, more full rainbows than I had ever seen in my entire life, to the point people were laughing about it. Yep. Wherever I went. And so people, if they see a rainbow to this day, still send me a text because it reminds them of that. And I said, it's the promise. So we initially got a promise. The day after my husband's funeral, there was a full rainbow behind the church. The people came to gather together, and we got this vivid rainbow. And I had declared a passage out of the story of Noah that the fountains of the deep were going to be opening up, and there was a manifestation outside. Then I started to feel not so safe in my house, and just like a sitting duck. I felt spiritual warfare woke up after my husband passed. And I started to feel some things I had not felt before, and they did not feel from the Father. Mm-hmm. And so
I remember experiencing that. And
so that is also a real thing, that there's darkness in the world, and panic, anxiety, insomnia, all these things in the dark night that can try to torment you, torment your kids. And I started to ask the Lord, I need proof that my guardian angel's here. I went to a concert, had a conversation with a person that I knew in a line saying that feathers started showing up in his life. And I was like, that's interesting. So it took me getting out, going out of my comfort zone, going somewhere I had not been to a concert before, having a conversation, and the man tells me, feathers showed up in my life in different seasons, different colors. And I'm like, different colors. I said, what do you think it meant? And he said, I asked him, and I never really got an answer, but it was like, there's more where they came from. There's more where those came from. And it piqued my interest. And so I asked. So at the beginning of this video, you said, ask, advocate. I said, I asked for proof that my guardian angel was there. White feathers. I have a whole shadow box of feathers now, y'all. I would be at the beach and be sitting in my seat, go to the water, come back, and there's a white feather there. Okay, there's seagulls all around.
Yeah.
Yes, we can logic our way out of receiving the goodness of the Lord. But when you're this little girl, I'm not a little girl, but feeling like a little girl, asking the Father for something, and He grants the request, you start asking for bigger things, bigger dreams, bigger opportunities. And I've been pondering that with it being the last month of the year, what am I thinking about for 2026? And I got a picture from a friend a few years back, and it said, dream big and bigger. And I just kind of want to push that out into the universe, out into your thought process about 2026. There are things that this 2025 was hard. It was intense for me personally. It was a wild ride. There's been more loss this year.
Yeah. Yes.
Some major losses this year.
Yeah.
That brought up more grief.
Yes.
In some ways I was not expecting 8 years later. We haven't talked about that. And it was intense grief for 5 days. Intense. And so it is a learning process with all of this, walking through. So I'm just here to tell you that I've had people say the cardinals showed up. I've had people say the dragonflies showed up. Mm-hmm. And I do not personally think that it is my husband in a dragon form, a dragonfly form. I do not. But people say, my husband came to visit me today in the form of a cardinal. I hear those phrasings. Mm-hmm. I would like to reframe that and say, the Lord loves us enough to come and comfort us in 100 different ways. And one of those forms is birds. One of those forms has been dolphins. One of those forms is a beautiful rose.
A rainbow.
A rainbow. She has a rose.
Rose of Cortland.
Bobbi Lea has given me roses. She has come and delivered roses.
Yellow roses.
She sends me cards. And these are the kind gestures that a woman that is, you could say, had an unfortunate life. She's had a hardship in her childhood. She's had to raise a child that has not been able to think or take care of herself one day in her life. Then she got married and she found love, and now he's gone. She has so many reasons to be bitter and angry and to not choose to want to live, except she has to live for her daughter because her daughter chooses to live.
Yes, she does.
So you have purpose. But here with the holiday coming up, I just want to awaken your senses, y'all, to the possibility and the variety of ways that the Lord loves you. Can you share any of those examples of your own, of things that happened? The one with Jeff brought all this back to my memory just after that. But were there others? Have there been other things that only God could have done it?
Gosh, yes. So many things. For the longest time, our only transportation was a handicap van that we have for Rose. I call it the Beast because it's really loud and it shakes and it rattles. And I didn't want to keep putting all these miles and miles on these car, on this van. And I was like, Father, I don't need much but a second car. As long as it runs, it gets me from A to B, that's great. Well, then my father passed away in 2022, also on a Sunday, like Jeffrey. And my stepfather passed away on Easter morning, like 30 days later. It was very strange.
All Sundays.
All Sundays.
Interesting.
I find that to be a blessing, though. I mean, if you're going to go,
you
go on the Lord's Day. You know what I mean? So I thought it was, but it's interesting. Every day's been a Sunday.
Yeah.
And my mother is still with me. So Sunday's always sitting in the back of my mind. But anyway, my father passed. I had to make arrangements for someone to look after Rose so I could go back to Wisconsin because that's where I'm from, to take care of, the arrangements and stuff. And my father had this little orange Chevy. It was a little sporty car. Well, I ended up bringing that car home. And, that's a gift.
Out of loss. Yeah.
And my cousin Marcia, I said, well, I'm going to drive back. She goes, can I come with you? I was like, really? Mm-hmm. So I didn't have to come back by myself. And I had this marvelous trip with my cousin Marcia. And we reconnected because, you know, divorce divides families. So I didn't really spend a lot of time with my father's side of the family. So it was great to have her for a couple of days. And she hung out with us, and she hung out with Rose, and she met some friends and stuff. So the prayer was answered, and I never asked for the best of anything. Just right, just what I need. That's what I usually, just so we're protected and we have what we need. I don't want any more. I don't need any less. And the funny thing after that, Rose's grandmother, Laura, had been kind of looking after this older lady in the community where she lives, and she happened to have a Ford Focus. So Laura says, you know, she's passed, her sister's selling the car, she only wants $5,000 for it. I was like, all right, check right now, because it was a even newer car, more reliable. So now here I have the handicap van, my dad's little orange hot rod, and of course, the license plate says Sky God. This is my dad. He was a skydiver and a pilot.
Wow.
So yes. So I'm driving around town for a while with the license plate Sky God. I didn't like it. I still have the plate though. My father was his own higher power.
Yes, of course.
And so my cup was overflowing.
Yes.
And then not long later, not even a year later, my father's car had to be junked, I guess. I'm not thinking the right word I want to say, but
totaled of sorts.
Well, I had to take it in because something was going on with the brakes. And I really enjoy driving that car because I like to drive. I'm a bit of a adventurous person. I made a few skydives with my dad.
Okay, awesome.
I tried to learn to fly, you know, so
Awesome.
I'm zooming around in this car having a great time. Like, the brakes are weird. I take it in, the whole chassis is just rusted out from going from Wisconsin and sitting in the summer, winter, and not moving, and then bring it here and introduce it to the salt air. It just rotted really fast.
Yeah.
But still, that's how good God is. I mean, totally covered me. And another funny thing, this is before I moved to Cortland to live with Jeffrey and Haley, us all coming together. The home I was living in was owned by Rose's dad.
Okay.
And I paid both our names were on the lot fee, or the lot.
The deed.
On the deed. And I had to get out of there because there's no way I was going to get a loan to buy it from or anything. So I applied for Section 8 housing. And it came through. But I had met Jeffrey, and he had asked me, and it was all kind of coming together. And this is my story. God has been looking out for me. You know what? No matter what decision I made, I was covered.
Wow.
You know, in the hardship of my childhood, he saved me. And it took me a while to figure out where he was in this whole situation. And the person who was involved wasn't punished through man's justice, but he was punished through the Father's justice. And after, I mean, not losing, if I didn't lose Jeffrey, I might not even come to that realization, because someone asked me, where do you think Jesus was in that moment?
Right.
And I didn't even know then. I'm slow in the uptake. You know, I don't get hit with lightning bolts very often. But it came to me, and I was like, yeah. So he loves you so much. He cares about you so much. And he sees everything. And I know the world is huge and big. And there's millions of people and millions of different things going on. And I think we forget that he knows everything. And if something is not right in your life, and you really turn to him and say, I don't have any power over this, but you created the universe. You made gravity. That's what holds us together. It's what holds me together. I lay this in your hands because I can't do anything about it.
That's right.
And, you know, he took care of it. I didn't even know it at that time.
Right.
I was just a little kid. I was like 12 or 13 years old. And I didn't really know God. I didn't know him
Yes.
like I do now.
Right.
We were holiday
Christers.
Christians, and I wasn't brought up being taught the love of God. I was brought up being taught the wrath of God.
The wrath of God, right.
Right.
And that is very common, that, you know, it's more of a works-based religion because we have to do right so that he will love us. Basically, if we do wrong, then punishment's coming. There's a consequence. And that is very common because even as parents, when we're raising our kids, you know, when some of them want to put their hand on the stove or some of these different things that we're here to protect them, well, sometimes we slap their hand when they're going to do things. So there's a little bit of a punishment when you kind of go beyond the bounds. So, but I have learned that the interpretation that the Lord is punishing us is really, he's trying to protect us.
Right.
He's trying to guide us and bump us back on the road to get us to return to the direction that it doesn't mean there's not hardship, but not all hardship is a form of punishment.
I think you learn the most out of hardship at a trial. Because, I don't know, if you're not challenged, you can't grow.
That's right. And that is a big thing that I have tried to tell people. I said, the thing about loss, and I feel like there's an open heaven. There's this vortex of a life going on. But if we believe that eternity exists, and we know that Jeff was a believer, then the Spirit is still alive. And there's now, to me, more access to heaven for Bobbi Lea than even before, because the reality or the desire to know has increased. The curiosity about the heaven, the curiosity of what Jeff's doing there, the curiosity of how often does he get to see us down here. All of these ideas that we start to imagine sometimes because you miss that person and you're thinking, what are they doing? And then it makes you start wondering more about heaven. I know that's happened for me. And so heaven is a happy place.
Yes.
Heaven is a place where there's no tears. And
no
so,
sour.
Right. And so I'm not saying we have to live in a world where there is pain, there is tears, there is sorrow, there is injustice, there is all these things. And so we live in this tension where our mind can potentially be on eternal things. We're thinking on things above. That's what the scripture says. Think on these things that are pure, things that are holy. There is a higher level of thinking, and really, I believe it's the eternal perspective. And a lot of us want to stay on this earthly perspective, what's right in front of us, this tunnel vision perspective where we can't even see to the side, where it's right this close. And I see that in the teenagers especially, where they're very much living in the present. They're not making decisions that affect a consequence. Like, they're not really trying to set themselves up for that 5-year plan. They're living in the present.
Yeah, teenagers do that. Because I remember being a teenager and just caring about right now, today. But also, I was kind of raised with expectations of, hey, if you graduate from high school, I mean, like, there was no expectations on us as coming up
to succeed,
to secure yourself, take care. Like, I was told by my mom, I would like to see you to go to college so you can meet a husband. But this is the mentality of, you think that your worth is just one part of your self, which is not true.
Right. If you've married,
she was raised that way.
Right. If you've married, then you've married up. You know, you found success.
Exactly.
No matter what the person themselves are like or how they treat you. But if you got married, then you found success. That has evolved, obviously, in our world today, that we now realize not all men are created equal. Not all men are right for you.
And vice versa.
Yes.
Of course.
And we are also growing. So back to the pain point of this vortex, it is the epicenter for growth. We can run from the growth. We can cry and have a pity party and fight it. But the reality is,
eat your feelings.
yes, eat your feelings, okay? We've all ate them and they're good. There is less healthy coping skills when sudden things happen. And a lot of people want to say, why me?
Oh my gosh. You know, when Jeff first left that night, and I was alone, and people were like, oh my gosh, she's all alone. And they sent a neighbor over, which I didn't really know at all. And she's like, can I hug you? I'm like, don't touch me.
Right.
I mean, and it was, that feeling was so strong.
Yeah.
And I've never felt that before, like just shutting somebody down like
Yeah.
that. But it wasn't until Tina Scott showed up and I was looking at her. I said, Rose, I can understand, but Jeffrey, no. And I just fell into her arms. And I finally released.
Yes. The pain.
Because I was just holding on to it. But still, to this day, it's like I really can understand why it happened that way.
Yeah.
Is very strange to me. Because coming up, I've always been like on my own. Did stuff on my own. Spent a lot of time. And I didn't want to lose Jeff. But the longer I'm on my own, figuring things out for myself sometimes can be very difficult.
Yes.
And that's when I really get into God. Is like, okay, I'm at a wall. I don't know what to do or how to tackle this certain thing or whatever. But I like that.
Yeah.
I like
the challenge of
the
it.
challenge, making my own decisions for me and Rose. And, you know, and I wasn't looking for Jeff when it happened.
Yep.
And if the Father wants to introduce something to me again,
That's right.
that's up to him.
That's it.
I am not looking for stuff like
Yes.
that. Because I had kind of was seeking before Jeff through the internet. And I was just like, everybody I met was lying on some level. And I could see a liar pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get a good read on people, and I was like, I'm done. This is in your hands. And 2 weeks later, he came walking through the door of the office where I worked.
And there's something
So
about
brave.
that surrender.
He was so brave. Yes.
And these are the beautiful parts of the story, y'all, is that, you know, here we're walking through life, things find us when you least expect it. And then all of a sudden it's kind of taken from you if you feel when you least expected it. And so these there's suddenly moments in the scripture, Old Testament and New, and suddenly. And
yes.
And I feel like that's been part of my storyline. Now you're saying people passed on Sundays, like both grandfathers were heart. So it's all been heart things.
Okay.
And they were all suddenly. So there was no walking with a long-term illness, really. So it's just interesting. This is why I have to continue to do these interviews, everyone, because the stories are so different, but then there is some commonalities with how our thoughts process grief, how intense the grief can be. And what can you say as we finish up here for the listeners, like now that you've going 8 Christmases in, is there any tips that you have of things that have helped you find the joy, even though you have some funky feelings and funky days too?
Well, you know, fortunately for me, God blessed me with just a bright spirit. I've always had a positive attitude, and what was the question?
How does it feel to walk through this Christmas this year? Is there anything that you did to help you navigate over the last 8 years?
I was more aware of the time of year. Because there was a time after Jeffrey left, in the wintertime, it was always wintertime. I'd have to turn all the lights on when dusk was coming till I could get to full dark. And I don't know what that was about. But this year, the last couple of years,
you've been okay.
I've been okay. And this year I was determined to be on alert, recognize it, know that, because the real trigger is hunting season. Thanksgiving was the last holiday we were together. So after I could feel it kind of coming when the fall winds start blowing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just was like, okay, I'm prepared.
Mm-hmm.
If it comes, it's going to come, and it's going to.
Yeah.
And you're going to embrace it.
Yeah.
And just walk with it, and just know that God is watching.
Yeah.
No matter what you may think. Like I said, you can get so lost in Him not seeing you.
Yeah.
But He sees everything.
Yeah.
You just know it.
And
So,
it does feel, it makes me
yeah.
think of the Christmas song, He sees you when you're sleeping, He knows when you're awake, He knows when you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. Oh, so it
just more fully aware of the feelings, because it's been happening every year.
Yes.
And I told myself,
so
just don't forget.
yeah.
And because I'll get past the days.
Yeah.
And then it hits me. I want to face it. It's
Before.
coming up. It's
Yeah.
coming up. It's coming up. So.
And I think there is something to that, and that has happened to me also, where I pre-grieve, I call it. It's pre-grieving so that, for example, like when I'm going to funerals or certain things, I feel a lot of emotion when people are in the process of dying. In the final days and things, I feel a tugging at my heartstrings, and thankfully songs have been birthed out of the tension of those days. So that is a gift that the Lord has given me as an outlet to work through the emotions. But then I'm able to kind of get them out of the way. So in the funeral, I'm not a mess because
Right.
I pre-grieved certain things. So I stopped thinking I was weird, if you want to say, about like, why am I feeling so deeply when everyone else is fine? Now they're feeling it. But it gives me the opportunity to regulate myself for the bigger events. And it's not to be stoic. It's not to be strong. I had my weak moments, but I was able to have them in the privacy of my own home and cry and ask the Lord what's going on. And then He
Kind of purge
comforts.
yourself.
Yes, He comforts us in these times. And so, as Bobbi Lea has said over and over, you forget that He's there because the pain takes up the space, y'all. It wants to suffocate the goodness of God out of the room.
Right.
And it will if you allow it. And I have fought to know that when you feel that coming on, we put the praise music on. She's putting the praise music on. She has dance parties in her house.
I do.
and it is literally a life hack to shift your focus, your energy. The feelings within need to go somewhere, y'all. And when we don't do something with it, that's why you feel the tightness in your chest. We can't skip over it. The book, Going on a Bear Hunt, can't go over it, can't go under it. You got to go through it. So if we can have some helpful tips, whether that's you feel it coming. For me, in those 5 days, I got out of town. I had bought a ticket to a concert because I do better in worship. I do better in a collective. There's energy there. It's positive. Mm-hmm. You feel the Spirit of the Lord in the ones that I go into. And He comforts me in that place. And I don't have to be the one comforting others. I get to just sit and receive. Mm-hmm. And so go. This time of year, there's plenty of cantatas, Christmas things.
I went to a cantata last night.
There is tons of activities to get you out of your house and into a place of worship, into a place of laughter. There's so many things. You do not have to be invited. I know that is hard, but if you just call a couple of friends and say, what are you doing? 9 times out of 10, they say, come along. Yes. And so be brave this Christmas. Do something you haven't done before. Skydiving, I don't know if I'm going to recommend that. I have thought about it. We went to Sky Zone, and that does a simulation of skydiving. Obviously, you don't get the falling. It's not the same.
You want to hear the silence of God.
Oh,
go skydiving.
Sure. Okay.
I'm serious.
I'll wait till my children are out of the house and can take care of themselves before I attempt that. I've never heard anybody regret it, to be honest. They all loved it, adrenaline junkies. So thank you for watching.
Zip lining. We need to go zip lining.
That also we have done, and we did love that. So if you have, Virginia Beach has a great zip lining place. It is cooler out, but they light it up at Christmas time.
Oh my gosh.
And you can go at night. I'm telling you, there's also something that happens in grief, and I read this. We did a rope course the first summer after my husband passed, and it was scary. And I got a little angry, to be honest. And I listened to a podcast later on, and it said it is good to do things that causes you to trust each other, and it builds bonds when you do something that it takes each other to do it.
I think your care and the understanding that somebody is there for you.
Yes.
They're there for you. And you can trust them.
And so there's a trust factor. There's a stepping over your fear factor. There's adventure involved. All of that is actually part of your healing. I'm not saying somebody that's 78 years old needs to get on a rope course, but what I am saying is that it helps build trust back within yourself, because you lose that a little bit. Your wind is knocked out of you.
Your walls are up. So
yes.
I felt that for a couple of years.
Yes.
But
and so there is doubt in making those decisions when you're walking through new beginnings, and especially if it's things you have not done before and you relied on that other person and you can't ask him how to do it. But as she said over and over again, the Father is here to help. He's here to guide you. And in those quiet nights, call out and let him speak sweet, merciful, kind words over you. If you can hear that you're doing great, you're better than you think, he's closer than you think, that this baby Jesus that we're here to celebrate this year, this holiday, we're coming up on the birth. I have a song called Stable Faith. And the first line of that song says, he was born in a stable, and that's what makes me able to remain stable.
It's a good song.
And so the stability of what happened in that manger, we are still standing on today.
Yes.
And so if you don't feel stable this holiday season, get in touch with us. We want to pray with you. We want to encourage you. We want to remind you that you're more capable than you think to do new things. And if it really is something beyond your understanding or desire to understand, like car maintenance, get in touch with us. We know some people who will take care of you, and we're excited. There is one more video for this year. I'm hoping to get Judy Hawkins done on here to do an end of the year review. Stay tuned next week. Bye-bye.
Bye. Merry Christmas.